Hi there, this is Dan from onlinebasscourses.com. Hope you're doing really well. Now, this is the 7th and final bassline, a little mini series I'm doing on how to write basslines. I've done pop, rock, reggae, 12/8, funk, hip hop. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel to get at least one weekly lesson I do on all kinds of different things with bass, but make sure you do check out all those others. What I've done is I've just written some chord progressions just in one key and explain what notes I use, what feel, things like that, just to give you some ideas across different genres. So when it comes to jazz walking bass lines, there are a few concepts that are really going to help you and you really should stick to. So one, they're called walking bass lines, and that's, we're in 4/4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So those quarter notes are, you're kind of expected as a bass player to outline the harmony whilst also really marking the rhythm. So you have to have really good time for this. One way of getting good time, the best way is to play with a great drummer. Second best way, maybe just play along to great jazz records. And playing along to a drum beat like this can help as well. I mean, it's robotic, it doesn't move, but at least it'll help you to keep in time. So that's the first thing is, see how it's dun, 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 dun. Now, within this 4/4 kind of feel, we've got a very important idea in jazz, which is swing. So the eighth notes are not straight. So like if in a rock beat, so if you're 1, 2, 3, 4. It's more in jazz. So one thing you really have to work out here are subdivisions. That's really, really important. So in the 12/8 video that I did, we were feeling 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in each beat we were feeling tick-a-ta, 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 threes, and 4 3s make 12. You know, so time signatures are really important. And in 4/4, it's a similar-ish concept. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each beat is split up into triplets. So that helps for things like rhythmic interest in your line. So instead of just going, if we just take the first 4 bars, nothing wrong with that. Notice that there I was just doing the quarter note walking bass feel. Dun, 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 dun. I was sticking to that. So start with that, and then you can think about these underlying triplets. So dun, 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 ba, da, ba, da, ba, ba, ba. That really adds interest. Every video that I've done in this series, I've mentioned to listen to the greats. You know, that's the shortcut. I mean, there isn't a shortcut really, is there? You know that. But one of the best ways is to listen to the greats and work out by ear what they're doing. And you can reverse engineer this, because I'm analyzing this and showing you, you know, this is that chord, that's a mode, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about any of that at the beginning. Just work out bass lines by ear. If you're very new to it and go straight into jazz, depending on, you know, your ability and your patience levels and things like that, it may not be the best genre to start if you're completely new to things. You know, pop is an easier thing than jazz, but if you love it and you want to do it, of course, listen to it. Someone like Ray Brown is such a brilliant bass player, and he's a double bass player, but great electric bass players have certainly listened to him without a doubt, and he's really famous for those, you know, those kind of skips. So rhythmic interest is really important, and otherwise I'm just playing notes from the arpeggio and or the scale. That's what's going on. Chord tones and scale tones, really. There's lots of different terminologies you might find for this, but it's essentially, that's what we're doing. We're playing notes from the scale or mode, and we're playing the arpeggio. So if we want to keep things a bit simple for now, and you know your different arpeggios or triads, keep it even more simple. So I'm staying in one position here. I'm just looking down at my notes there, just so I make sure I get the right progression. Contour. The line's going up, it's going down. You know, here. going down and down, down. Eventually I'm going to run out, so I'm going to have to run out of bass, so I'm going to have to go back up. Contour is an important thing in jazz walking bass lines, but just never lose that pulse, never lose the walking thing. That's what your bandmates need to hear. It being jazz, you can use notes from outside the scale. So another good thing to do is to lead into the new chord from notes either side of it. So a semitone or a half step either side. For us, that's a fret. So I'm going to take away the rhythm. I'm going to, still think 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'm just going to play a root note, and then I'm going to go to the next note, either from a note that's 1 fret below it or 1 fret above it. I might add some rhythm in, but maybe not. That's a G sharp or an A flat. It's a wrong note, but in jazz there's no such thing. It's a really, really great idea to infuse your jazz walking bass lines with forward momentum, and that happens when you use one of these kind of neighbouring tones going into a chord. Then start adding one other note. So all I'm doing there, what we're doing, G to E. So there's that chromatic thing. So that I'm on an A there, and I'm just, that's just an A minor 7 arpeggio. I'm not thinking, well, that's a really important point. I'm not thinking a lot, and many bass players, when they're playing jazz bass lines, they're not thinking. But there becomes a process where you have to learn all these things really well and then unlearn them. Just, they're under your fingers. So that's just what I was doing there. Just going down, an A minor 7 arpeggio with a little bit of that rhythmic stuff I was talking to you about. That's really the best advice I can give you. So think about it two ways. You've got arpeggios, or you've got scales. And if you listen to bass lines, walking bass lines, you'll notice a combination of things going on. There's a little bit of arpeggio stuff. It's almost as if you're going this way, and a bit going that way with the scales, make it melodic. And what you're doing is you're threading the notes through the chord progression and through those changes. So you definitely have to be aware of that. Two jobs with jazz: keep the pulse going and keep the harmony outlined, because if a soloist is playing, they're going to be doing all kinds of crazy things over the top of you. They need, and the listeners need, to hear the harmony. That's why you need to be, in particular in jazz, you need to be in control of the arpeggios and where you're playing. One quick thing to finish, just going to use a few of those ideas with triads. So remember, a triad, we have a major one and a minor one. So on G, we've got 3rd fret of the E string is G, B on the 2nd fret of the A string is the B, and 5th fret with the little finger of the A string is your D. So that's your root, your major 3rd, and your 5th. If you want to convert that into a minor, just put the 3rd down a fret. So now, and I want you to try this as well, I'm going to do this slowly. I might use some rhythm in here, but all I'm going to do is triads on each of, so it's, G major triad, E minor triad, A minor triad, D major triad, and so on. And those little neighbouring tones, that's all I'm going to do. You can go up for a triad, or down. That's why you need to know it, in particular arpeggios in different places. And this is your selection of notes. And the more you do this, the more you'll actually be guided less by an analytical, theoretical point and by your ear. And really, there are only a handful of jazz chord progressions you need to do. Now, I'm going to do loads more videos on that, because this, from this little mini series of 7 bass lines, I think the jazz one is just this. It's such a rich art form. There's so much to teach, so I've got so many ideas for that. So on that note, make sure that you subscribe to the channel for all the rest of the at least weekly lessons that I'm doing. Also, I've got a weekly newsletter that I send out just on different like things from around the internet, interesting bass stuff, any new lessons, blog posts. I've got blog posts over at onlinebasscourses.com. And finally, I've just set up a thing. If you do want to support my channel, I'll put a link below where you can do that. And I hope you get something from this. So make sure you do listen to all 7 of these videos. There'll be something in there on each for you. And make sure you download those drum beats, and you'll have 5 minutes each to practice. I'll put the chord progressions there as well. You may need to go through the video again, but make sure you listen to lots of different styles of music. Make sure you use your ear and just take it slowly, and you'll get somewhere with this, I promise you. So I'll see you on the next video.